All right, welcome to this tutorial on how to hook up Airflow and Syntropic. So the goal here is when a user creates an update to this spreadsheet, which is a table in Snowflake, we want to kick off an Airflow job. So to do that, from the table view, we have a webhooks tab. Click on that, add our first webhook, give it a name and a description, which can be anything you want. It's going to be a post request to the Airflow API. So this is the endpoint that Airflow exposes. This URL part will be different for you. It'll be wherever you're hosting it, on Astronomer or wherever. And then this part will be the name of the DAG. So that's the name of my DAG, Load Operations Cube. Parameters, we don't need them. Headers, we need 2 of them. Authorization, basic, and then this has to be a base64 encoded username password. So username Airflow :password Airflow. You can run this command to get the base64 token. Looks like that. And then this will be encrypted with envelope encryption, and it's never going to surface again in the app. The next header is content type, application JSON, and then go over to our payload. Before I configure the payload, I'm going to click this enable monitoring button. And so what this does is when our app triggers Airflow, it's going to then wait for Airflow to send a response back to tell us when the DAG is completed. If we don't enable monitoring, it'll still trigger Airflow. It's just not going to wait for it to to update our API with the completion status. So if you click it, you'll get some information here, when to use monitoring and when to not. It doesn't make sense in every case, but if you are using it, you're going to need to generate a webhook token. This is what you're going to use to authenticate to our API. And then we're just sending a post request. Here's our API endpoint. Here's the headers. We're doing a bearer authorization token. This is the token that we just generated up here. The payload expects a ID, a status, and an error message. The error message is optional, actually. The ID is going to be the webhook log ID. This is a placeholder. This is going to be given to Airflow from our app. And then the status can be success or error, and then whatever your error message is. All right, so I'll click enable monitoring, and what that did is it added this part. So we're sending a parameter to the endpoint, and this is a template variable. So this will be replaced with a real ID whenever we send this webhook. Now this payload is not configured for Syntropic, for Airflow. So I'm just going to paste this other payload, which is proper payload for Airflow. And so again, we're just sending this parameter to the DAG, and we're making it the template for the webhook log ID. We can create that webhook. And now I'll just jump over to Airflow here and take a look at the DAG. Let's go to the graph. It's just one task. This updates the Syntropic API. In your DAG, you're probably going to have a bunch of tasks that happened before here, do some processing, and then at the end, you should update our API. Let's go look at the code. DAG takes a parameter, webhook log ID, and then it's just doing a post request again to this endpoint with the token that we generated as a bearer token. And the payload has the ID key with the webhook log ID, the status key with the status success or failure. And then we're just doing a post request with the request library. If your Airflow DAG fails, you can still update our API. Just give us a status of error, and the error message can be whatever the error is. So sweet. Let's see if it works. Let's go to our data. Let's make an update to our table. Load our update. Give it a comment. Apply our changes. So this is going to update the Snowflake table, which it did. If we go to our monitoring tab, refresh. So that just kicked off the Airflow DAG. You can see the status is running. So let's pop over to Airflow, refresh this. DAG's now running. Let's go back to Syntropic. Refresh this. And when the DAG completes, which it hasn't completed yet, it's going to update Syntropic and tell us, hey, that was a success. This is the time it finished at. This was the duration. So yeah, that's how it works. And then on the webhooks tab, you can add other webhooks, as many as you want. You can disable them or enable them as you see fit. And then there's a copy existing tab. So if you already have an Airflow webhook in another table, you can copy it here, and then you can edit it and configure it. And that way you're just kind of saving yourself some time and from putting in all the same credentials and stuff here. So that's how it works. Thanks for watching.